Hello. Welcome back. Making another video. Today, I'm going to talk about something that I've been thinking about a lot recently, mostly because of Marvel Rivals. I love Marvel, and I love a lot of comic books. Marvel is not my favorite. If you've watched my previous videos, you know DC is definitely my favorite. I just lean toward it more. I enjoy the stories, the characters, all that much more than I enjoy Marvel stories and characters. But that's not to say I don't hate Marvel. I love Marvel. If you've tuned into any of my streams, I have been streaming Marvel Rivals, and I've been going a bit insane. I've been going pretty crazy in it. I'm not gonna lie. My problem is DC has to do something, because Marvel's on top right now. They coming back. Everybody was talking about how Marvel's fallen off. The movies and shows haven't been that good. DC really hasn't had a lot to counter it. This was the perfect time to counter it, but they have not, because of issues with who was going to be leading the DC universe, and movies wise. Shows wise, they've been doing pretty decent, though their bigger hitters like Flash and Arrow did end in this time. They really haven't had a whole lot good come out since then. Creature Commandos, from what I hear, is the better thing that's come out. I haven't watched it yet, but I am super excited for the Superman movie. It looks good. I trust James Gunn, so we'll see how that goes. But Marvel's trying to get back up. They're starting to get back up to where they were, and DC's still behind on where they were. Yes, they've had good shows come out like Peacemaker, Creature Commandos, but nothing really else. We're in a post-Endgame kind of era in superhero media, and not a whole lot of stuff is coming out that's been really great. You know, the Batman is the most recent thing I can think of, but the Batman just got delayed another year. So, problem, DC needs to strike fast. And it's not like they don't have the resources. They have made games in the past with many people. They've done crossovers and stuff, and that's kind of how they've been supporting themselves. I think what their call was to say, hey, we're going to be doing game stuff, was Multiverses. And Multiverses was fun for the 2 weeks it was alive, but nobody's talking about Multiverses, but everybody's talking about Marvel Rivals, because Marvel Rivals did something risky, and I think they did it very well. I liked Overwatch, but I will say I definitely prefer Marvel Rivals to Overwatch. And is that maybe the IP? Maybe. It very well could be. But I think I like Marvel Rivals better because it plays better than Overwatch in my mind. You know what I mean? Like, obviously there are some heroes that are better in Overwatch than they are in Marvel Rivals. Kiriko is a support in Overwatch 2, and she's a really good one. She's a really good headshot multiplier, really good healing. Marvel Rivals kind of doesn't have that, but they have really good healers. The thing I like about Rivals over Overwatch is the variety of it. Like, yes, I like playing Hanzo and Genji in Overwatch, and that's really it. But in Rivals, I like playing most of the characters. Like, 90% of the characters I love playing. I play Doctor Strange, Winter Soldier, Iron Fist, Luna Snow, Cloak and Dagger. You get my point. I love most of the characters, and there's some I have issues with. What I'm here to say is DC needs to do something. And DC, if you're listening to a guy with less than 100 subscribers, I got some ideas. $1 million ideas, you could say. So, send me the check later. Anyways, some of my ideas are, number one, foremost, out of the way. Do not do what Rivals did. Do not do what Rivals did. You're gonna fail and it's gonna be bad, and everybody's gonna point and laugh and say, look at the idiots who thought that they could do what Marvel Rivals is doing. You're not gonna do it, and you're not gonna do it good, right? You need not the most original idea, but a semi-original idea. You could thrive by making essentially Marvel Rivals, but with big maps. Make Metropolis good. Make Gotham City good. Just make it bigger. My idea is basically, if you've ever played Conquest and Battlefield, it's one of my favorite game modes that Battlefield has. It's a very big map and you have multiple areas to get, right? Two big teams, they go in, it's like a whole war. If DC did that, but with Rivals instead, I think it would be awesome. You don't have to do as big of maps as, obviously, as like the Conquest maps in Battlefront or Battlefield or any of these games, right? You don't have to do those big maps. Make your teams bigger so more people can play, right? Marvel Rivals does something that you need to be able to do, and it's take lesser known characters and put them in the limelight. Luna Snow, Jeff the Shark are names that nobody knew before Marvel Rivals dropped, except for your big nerds. Something else I saw. Not necessarily my idea. I watched another YouTuber do it. I can't remember his name for the life of me. But make your big name characters supports. Make them supports. It's what's going to separate you from Rivals, and it's what is going to make the game a lot longer lasting. Because people are going to boot up your DC-esque game and go there specifically to play Batman. That's fine and all. Don't make him a DPS. Make him a support, you know? Make him a healer. Make him use his tech gadgets and stuff like that to heal his teammates, but also be able to do damage. Like a kind of in the back, you know, just like shadowy kind of figure to help support, but also be a DPS kind of at the same time, but mostly support. When he needs to be a DPS, takes a 1v1, maybe a 2v1, he could do that, but he's not up there pushing, you know? That's what you need to do. You need to be able to space out your popular characters into other options, right? I'm not saying it's going to be the most popular idea, by far, for real. A lot of people aren't going to like it, but a lot of people are going to still play Batman anyways. Like, there's a couple other options you could do. That's not the only one I have. One of the other ones is probably the worst one I got. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a good option. I don't think so, but I think it's something that you could toy with. You know, do kind of something like Apex Legends. Not necessarily a battle royale, but you have a roster, you go into a big open area, and you just try to, I don't know, do something. Just kind of where I got with it. Big roster, go into a big area, make sure it's a big area, like a battle royale map. One of the other ideas I had was, it's a half idea. It's a pretty good, I think it has a lot of potential, frankly, but an Escape from Tarkov-esque thing with the Battlefield idea where you have the big map, kind of make it like a Tarkov kind of thing, you know? So say, example, you set it, your game, you boot up a game in Metropolis, right? You have your team, and let's just say, since it's Metropolis, you're just like the super gang. 4v4, say you got Superman, Superboy, Supergirl, and Steel, you know? Those are your four characters you could play. I would say you'd be able to play anybody, but that's just the super squad. Say they have like a little team up thing if it's on Metropolis too, right? Say your enemies are playing villains, right? So it'd be hero versus villain kind of thing, right? Let's say you have villains, but you just make your villains really good, right? Say you just have two villains, Lex Luthor, Parasite, right? Because those two are pretty strong when it comes to the Kryptonians, you know? Parasite sucks the life out of people. And you could have like some NPCs walking around and stuff, but your villain's goal would be to like blow up the Daily Planet. Not saying that the Daily Planet's super important to blow up, but still, like, say that that's their plan. Or Parasite, like, wants to kill Superman. So Parasite's on the hunt for Superman. So it's kind of like the opposite, you know? Like, it'd be heroes hunting down villains, but, and this kind of goes into what I would want. So it would be a mashup of like 3 different games. And your Tarkov, Battlefield, and your Dead by Daylight all together. The villains would have stuff that they would have to do before the hero catches them and beats them, right? But it's going to be a PvP. So when you're playing a survivor in Dead by Daylight, you kind of suck, you know? Like, you really don't have a whole lot to fight back against these villains. So, as the villains, you're going to be able to actually take on your heroes. It's going to be a whole thing. And the map's going to be big, right? So you're going to want to be able to disperse fast, you know? So if you have 4 heroes, they got to be able to cover the entire city, you know? So if you run into one of them, it's pretty a 1v1 till they can call up somebody to come help them. Or you could do the big hero teams and go to the points if you want to just be like rivals, which isn't bad. I don't think that it would be bad at all to just say, hey, we're going to make rivals, but on a big map with a big roster. And you're going to have big teams, and we're going to balance it. Be like rivals where you have counters to other people's stuff, right? So say you're Superman, and Lex Luthor wants to, or Parasite wants to pull his ult and grab you and suck you to death, you know? But say he's going to do it and you freeze him, you know? Build your characters with built-in counters, right? Now, you don't always have to do the heroes and just the villains. You could have a hero v hero kind of thing, and you could play around with it. You're going to have to do multiverse, kind of like what Rivals does and with the whole storyline, but up to you guys. I know you're just going to do Crisis again. It's okay. I'll accept it. It's okay. It's fine. You could do that, I guess. You could just make a good game. You ever think about that? The 2 most recent DC games that I can think of off the noggin of me is Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. They both suck. Bad. And I didn't like either of them. You did okay things in Kill the Justice League. You did okay things. I'm not here to complain about you killing the Justice League members. I mean, I wasn't upset about that. It's in the fucking title. You're gonna kill the fucking Justice League. You're villains. You're playing as villains and you're killing the Justice League. Yes, you're gonna kill Batman. Do I like the way they killed Batman? No, not really. But, like, still, you're gonna fucking kill him. It's in the title of the game. You know? I'm not upset about that. I'm not upset about that. I think if you are, I think you're just upset the way Batman died. That's really it. You could care less about everybody else. You're just really upset about that one. And I get it. Kevin Conroy's last role. Trust me, I get it. Just make a good one. Just make a Superman game that's optional co-op. Optional co-op is a huge thing. Your 4 characters, but it could be a quad or squad game, you know? Just Superman, Supergirl, Superboy, Steel. Make them all have different abilities. Right there. You want to do Gotham? Do the Bat family. Batman, Nightwing, Robin, Batgirl. Easy. Right there. You have the option to do that. Make it a single player game first, then think about adding the second part to it. And say the second part, the co-op characters could go off and do their own little side quests, you know? You could just patrol Gotham at night. I think Gotham Knights had such a cool idea with if you don't stop a crime one night, it could get harder and harder to stop the crime throughout the rest of the night. Just kind of do that. Plus, you don't have to rely off of just the Bat family to do stuff. Yes, I understand that the Arkham games were amazing for you. I love those games with all of my heart. I played Arkham City a million times on that Xbox 360 back there. I understand. They're awesome games. You don't have to use Batman as a crutch. Do Superman. Seriously, just do Superman. You have built-in mobility right there, and you have built-in powers right there. It's all right there. Yeah, I understand making a villain is going to be kind of hard. I understand that. Set it in Metropolis. Make it so that Lex Luthor is taking over Metropolis, or there are Lex bots just like showing up out of nowhere, kill somebody crazy off, you know? Say like Lex Luthor's killed, assassinated, you know? And like Superman has to find out who killed Lex Luthor, and it's like kind of like a detective story. Even better example, what I think would be a really good way to do the game: make Clark Kent die. It's a premise to one of my favorite Superman the Animated Series episodes where Clark Kent gets killed. He doesn't get killed, obviously, but they don't find Clark afterwards. They only find Superman. It's just kind of nobody really knows what to do, you know? Like, Superman has to be Superman and figure out what happened because he still has to be Superman, you know? But he has to find out a way for Clark to come back as well. But make it something like that. You have these niche characters, and which I will say, by the way, most Superman characters are going to be niche characters. I'm not going to lie. Not a lot of people know a ton of Superman characters. They'll give you Lex Luthor and General Zod, and that's really about it. But bring Parasite's one of my favorites. Bring Parasite into it. Bring the Elite into it. That would be a great story to tell. Talk about do the Superman comic. I'll grab it. Do this comic. This comic's so good. It's amazing. It talks about why Superman is the way he is, and it is such an important story to tell in the modern day of comic books in general, right? Because most people I talk to say, oh, you know, Batman's a pussy for not killing people. No, he's not. No, he's not. Superman's a pussy for not beating the shit out of Lex Luthor. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's a better man than Lex Luthor. He is better than all the other people because he cares. He thinks he has this compassion. He knows Lex could be better. He could do so much for the world if he would just not be the way he is. You know, that's the thing. That's the thing about Lex Luthor and Superman. You could do a whole story about it. You could make them work together and solve something. Lex Luthor is one of the best villains in comic books. And his dynamic with Superman is one of the best rivalries in comic books in general. I would argue it's probably better than Batman and Joker. There's so much you can do with it. There's the dichotomy between the alien that's so human and the human that's so alienated to the people. He doesn't know what the normal people go through because he's a rich guy. He's not there, you know? That is true today, you know? You could talk about that. There's so much you could do in a Superman game. What I'm saying, make a single player game that has the option of being co-op, but mostly single player. My final point. You don't have to make a multiplayer game because you've already done it before. And you know you have. And I don't know why you don't rely on it more. In Batman Arkham Origins, there was a multiplayer mode in that. And you played as Batman. The other people played as Penguin, Two-Face, and Joker were fighting over control. And Batman was trying to stop them all. Do that. Just do that. That's awesome. Just do that for every character, though. Give like some NPCs, you know, to the Joker and like have him command them, or Two-Face and fucking Penguin, you know. And have them command them. Say it's like 4, 5, fucking 6 people, right? And then Batman, they're all armed and you have to like fucking go around like that. But you could do that with every single person. Literally every single hero has a rogues gallery so in depth for every hero. DC, every hero has a crazy rogues gallery. And you could do that. You could do that and it would be so easy. Superman, my go-to reliable. I'll go to the Flash instead. But the Flash, say it's about the rogues and they all hate each other now, and now they're all trying to fight to kill the Flash, you know, and like say like you have Captain Cold and Heatwave and like Mirror Master, and they're all trying to like take control over the city, but they also all are trying to kill the Flash, but the Flash is trying to stop them all at the same time. And it's a whole thing, you know, right? Or you could just do 3 villains versus a really good hero. You could just do the Rogues versus the Flash. That wouldn't be bad, you know? Or do Batman's Rogues Gallery, even though they don't work together nicely sometimes, versus Batman. Or Superman. Supermans don't really work together much, or versus him, but like, it's a whole thing. You have a mode. You could do it. You don't. Make the map bigger, give more mobility, and that's the way you could get back at Rivals. Now, is it going to be perfect? No. Obviously not. No game is going to release and be perfect, except if you're BioShock. The biggest thing, if you take anything away from this, do not do Marvel Rivals, but DC Rivals. Do not do that, because it's going to go terrible, and you're not going to get what you hope for. Hero shooters are insanely hard to get people into, because what's the point, you know? You just play a couple rounds, and that's like it. You don't have anything to grind to. If you're going to make a multiplayer game, make it free. Unless you're going to add like a story to it and something like that, then you can charge some money for it. I wouldn't say make a AAA game, make it cost $70, because it's not going to work as well as you think it is. Don't make it live service. People hear live service and they immediately think that it's going to be terrible, even though the idea of live service isn't the worst idea in the world, and you can have a good live service game that doesn't have a battle pass, you know. Don't do it the bad way. Do it the good way. Make it live service, update the game, listen to the people, and you have an opportunity. You really do, over Rivals. There's so much you could do with DC, and I'm just so upset that it doesn't get the love that it needs. It definitely doesn't. There's so much you could do, and most of these ideas you could do as in one big game and just have them as separate game modes. Do the Call of Duty thing, like the extraction thing, where it's just like one team versus another team in a big area. Just do that as an extraction mode, just for fun, you know. Make it on Metropolis and just do that, you know. Make Marvel Rivals, but have other modes besides just the hero shooter basic 6v6, 5v5, 10v10. Just do something different than Rivals. You can do Rivals, but add more to it. That is the problem that I know you're not going to listen to. But it would make you a lot of money. A conquest mode. I'm telling you. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. Anyways, thank you for watching. Couple things just at the end of the video. I moved. I'm living with my girlfriend now, and yeah, this is where I live. It's pretty cool. I got some stuff back there. You'll see it, like my old Xbox 360, my first console ever that I owned. My PC's here. I stream every so often. You're just gonna have to turn on notifications for that. I stream on Twitch too, so if you don't like YouTube the way YouTube does streaming, you can go watch Twitch streams. It's the same name, so you'll be able to just look me up over there and go follow me there. Yeah, I'm bald too.